Welcome back at 5:10 right now. The trial for a man accused of killing a 13-year-old boy continues today. Justin House, charged with second-degree murder in the death of Jamarian McCullough. The teen was part of a group of juveniles who stole the defendant's father's car. 13 on your side's Trevier Gonzalez joins us outside the Kent County Courthouse. Trevier, you were there for opening statements yesterday. What can you tell us?
Hey Jay, yeah, the prosecution is asking the jury to find Justin House guilty of second-degree murder. That means they'll have to prove that he intended to do great bodily harm or kill that victim. Now that could be difficult just because the defense is pushing that this was an act of self-defense, but prosecutors believe they have the evidence to prove otherwise. Now, if we go back to March 12th, almost a year ago now, it was just before 7 p.m. when House reported his father's car, a Honda Crosstour, stolen. Prosecutors laid out that timeline to jurors yesterday, but say House took matters into his own hands by looking for that stolen vehicle with his girlfriend, both of them armed with guns as they drove around searching while their child was also in the car. House eventually found the vehicle driving down 28th Street in Kentwood. That's near the entrance of Woodland Mall. He then went right in front of the stolen car, nose to nose, according to prosecutors. Then 6 individuals got out of the car and ran away. A single bullet ended up killing McCullough.
No one from that group of juveniles fired any shots at the defendant. The defendant was not injured in any way. And after the gunshot, the defendant simply headed back towards 28th Street. He walked, he did not run, and he never looked back.
Assistant Prosecutor Bonnie Prevet later told the jury that House took a number of steps to distance himself from that shooting. House did call 911 to report that he had found his father's stolen car, but made no mention of the shooting until a formal interview with police hours later. House also he also took a sweatshirt that he had left. It was a tan one that he wore at the time of the shooting. A handgun that he also used was also left in his car, a Bravada, not the father's car. Now, House's attorneys argued that this was an act of self-defense, as we had said. They say that that single bullet he had fired was not intended to kill. They also say that the driver of the stolen car, not believed to be McCullough, was actually trying to hit him.
You're going to know that Mr. House fired his gun in self-defense, because if Mr. House had intended to shoot anybody that night, if Mr. House had intended to kill anybody that night, he would have done so when the driver of the Honda was attempting to crush and kill him in the middle of the street.
That attorney co-representing House also said her client was basically trying to perform a citizen's arrest. Now that could backfire just because that itself is generally meant to detain a suspect who has committed a crime until a police officer can arrive. And like we heard, House walked away after the shooting. Now, we're told that there are 16 people who are set to testify for this trial, one of which will be a telecommunications person who took House's call or calls when he ended up calling 911. Now, this trial is expected to run for the rest of the week, and surveillance footage is something that could be used, just because something that has been mentioned is that House ended up seeing some members do some sort of gesture as if trying to reach toward a firearm. We'll try to see if that surveillance footage is able to support that message. For now, live in Grand Rapids, Trevier Gonzalez, 13 on your side.